Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 152 of Bloody Thumbs Podcast. I am your host here, Splinter 47, and as always, CH Gorog joining me tonight.
Hello, ladies and germs.
Hope you're all doing well tonight. CH, my good sir, how have you been?
Yes, indeed. I'm sorry?
How have you been?
I've been doing great. How have you been?
I have been well. I haven't played as much games as I would like to since the past episode we've done, but there's definitely a few things to discuss. You know, we've had the E3 come by, and I wanted to get your opinion on it, and diverge and indulge everybody, and kind of getting an idea of what we thought about of what came out of it. I didn't personally see most of the press conferences due to my work schedule. I didn't get to see most of them, but I heard I didn't miss much. I mean, I mainly stick to watching some of the trailers that come out of it. I mean, it's really the way to go. You know, some websites do a good job in putting together the highlights of what happened. They kind of chop down all the unnecessary things that you probably may not have cared you missed. So I got kind of a nice rundown.
I want to see the stuff. I want to go to the website that digitally reinserts I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Coffee. Mr. Caffeine, digitally into every background, and him just going doodle 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 like during the Project Spark and Halo 5, just him in the background, like not even audibly, just like him just doing the motions in the background. Yes, let's have that. Let's please. That was
a great E3, man. That year with Mr. Caffeine, I miss that guy.
But can we agree at least on one thing?
Yeah.
EA has taken the gold in terms of presenting themselves as the whitest company possible. Because I don't mean like in terms of gameplay protagonists, although they got that in spades. I'm talking about the fact that they have just the most uncool guys trying to be cool, and this year was just the guy who just goes all the feels and just. You're just like, dude, you're not. I don't know who you're trying to make this. Like, no one's gonna make a GIF of you doing that. That's not unironic.
It's been done before, but yeah, quite a few different things here. I don't know where to start, but I mean, we got a bit. I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to be organized here. What I'm trying to. So we can probably start with. I mean, Microsoft, you got Microsoft there, and you got Halo 5.
Oh, yeah.
What's your thoughts on Halo 5, since, Bungie's not currently working on that anymore, since they're kind of going on to doing Destiny, and they kind of got the bad experiences with Microsoft, so they're going to kind of stick it to Microsoft with Destiny.
Yeah, giving early content access to Sony, PlayStation 4. Is it just PlayStation 4 or also PlayStation 3, where you get access to the beta?
That I'm not too sure on. I could look it up here while you're divulging here some thoughts.
Yeah, but for some reason, I feel like Bungie is turning into what Rare was. You know how when Nintendo owned it, it was every single game that they're churning out is. It's interesting, it's critically acclaimed, some more than others, but, it's just really well done. And then as soon as, the Bungie parted ways, they started doing some kind of weird things, which one of them being firing Marty O'Donnell, and did just the whole lawsuit thing going on. That doesn't really seem like the down-to-earth company that was there before, where they would... frequently indulge the forums and talk with fans, and this seems a bit removed. I don't know what it is about the Marty O'Donnell firing that just... I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way, and I fear that this might be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely showing there, especially as we kind of move forward to almost later this year with some things coming out. Most of the newer stuff isn't probably coming out till next year, but so we have that, and there's a few other different things there. We can talk about, I guess, what's kind of stood out to us for the most part. I guess we won't get into a whole lot of detail almost on every press conference, but Far Cry 4 looked really good. I mean, I don't know if you played Far Cry 3, but Far Cry 3 was a lot of fun.
I did.
The gameplay.
Blood Dragon.
Oh, Blood Dragon. I mean, that's
I might be missing some stuff if I didn't play 3, but just I was just looking at if someone who just played Blood Dragon was like watching Far Cry 4, it's like this seems very different from where's the neon pink dragons shooting lasers?
I mean, that's definitely something they could probably continue or spin off in some capacity. It definitely went well for them. But I haven't played Blood Dragon. I've heard nothing but good things about it. But I like Far Cry 3 a lot. It was a lot of fun. Just the open world aspect of it really added to the game, and it was a really tight and solid shooter that didn't take place in some far off country in the Middle East. So that was a nice fresh take on that. You kind of scavenge around and hunt different animals to build up and kind of unlock newer items. They had that RPG elements. All of it was all good. The story was not so good. I mean, you could skip the story. It was terrible. Very lack. No, I mean, there's nothing in terms of character development. All of the characters you meet, they don't give them a lot to work with, and the main villain, they've advertised for that game was a huge letdown. It was barely in the game, and his demise was not very good as well. But
I've heard that, yeah.
Here hopes that Far Cry 4 is a bit better. At least I hope they at least try to make a somewhat coherent story and some interesting characters, but. I mean, they seem to be going in a interesting route so far. I mean, the villain seems crazy and interesting. I think that's actually Troy Baker voicing that guy. So
yeah.
Kudos to him. Yeah. Kudos to him for not me recognizing him. And they showed an image of the main protagonist, and he's not a white guy, so that's different.
So. That is good on them. Far Cry 4 looks pretty beautiful, and also, from what I can remember from Blood Dragon, it was very similar to what you're saying about Far Cry 3, and from what I heard about the reviews about the collecting animal skins and the RPG elements and leveling up and ranking up and getting new weapons, and. Yeah, something very interesting kind of occurred, and that was with Ubisoft's next game that they're talking about, which was, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah.
Do you remember? For everybody who didn't watch it, it was essentially just it's a co-op game where you can play 4 assassins at a time in. Turn of the end of Napoleonic France and the Vive la France situation there. I don't remember what time period it was.
The
French Revolution.
But,
essentially you're playing 4 dudes, and it was so weird because when they came up with the criticisms of, okay, why don't you make female characters, because female players make up a very large demographic, larger than ever before. Like they've been increasing over the years, and the excuse was just it was unforgivable in 2 respects. One, in that they said it would take too much time to actually render a female character and animate, which was debunked by many various developers in the industry on Twitter. and it either rings of incompetence or just complete idiocy, where they just don't want to do it. And if you want to appeal to a wider demographic, you're going to have to include more demographics. I don't understand. Like, you could play female characters in previous Assassin's Creed games, so I don't see why this is any different.
Yeah, the excuse they used was, not the best, definitely. I don't know. I don't know what the whole thought about that aspect is. I mean, they've recently, they put out a game in the arcade market with a female character, so I don't see why the inclusion of female assassin wouldn't be possible here. I think it's just a matter of them not doing it or not wanting to do it.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
They're just this weird corporate backpedaling of trying to pass the buck as something of it being something of a technical issue, when there have been multiple people who said, "Oh yeah, you can just do that within a day. The animations for men and women are not that different," and it just smacks of just complete, I don't know, incompetence. And anyway, Ubisoft did not have the strongest lineup of new stuff.
No, not really. I mean, and they've also been ones to kind of look out for when it comes to putting out an interesting press conference and announcements. They've been pretty solid for the most part on it, but this year they kind of it was kind of lackluster. It wasn't really anything worth getting too excited for. I mean, Far Cry was there, and then we had Assassin's Creed Unity. It looks good, but I don't know if they're going to change it up enough. I mean, it looks good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not I don't know how the co-op thing's going to work out. If it's one of those things where I'm sure, I hope to think it's not a mandatory thing, and it's not something that you'll have to deal with in terms of AI partners if you can't play with anybody else. Having all that crowdedness when it comes to that game, because you're always used to playing by yourself in terms of those Assassin's Creed games. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it right now in terms of that. They're kind of on thin ice. A weird thin ice with me here. They put out Black Flag, which I liked a lot. It was good.
Oh my god, Black Flag was awesome.
They did enough to change it up a bit. Still the same, still same Assassin's Creed, but they did just enough not to make it feel entirely derivative and make it seem like it's a complete yearly cash cow thing, which is it's already kind of gotten to that point. But they did it enough to differentiate it from past games, and we didn't have too much of the nonsensical. Oh, it's still nonsensical storyline. What's going on with the Animus? I'm interested. That's what they always do well. They interest you enough to find out what's to come and what you're going to see in the next title. Yeah, there's some weird things go on. I mean, it definitely happened at Black Flag. Some weird things went on there outside of the Animus. That got you interested. They're good at that, but it always usually ends up falling flat whenever they unveil it.
Yeah, it's this weird. I think they're almost regretting doing the whole narrative conceit of it being in present day, quote unquote, and back in time, just because I think a lot of people have realized the modern day stuff does not need to be inserted, because the old Assassin's Creed storylines are more interesting, and you spend so little time in the present, and you don't really get to know the characters as well as you do with the characters like Ezio's Auditore Deferens.
Yeah, he was good.
Mm-hmm. Or Connor, or any of the other assassins, and you got Sean and Rebecca. I only know that because they seem to be the only ones who pop up the most. What was Kirsten Bell's character?
Lucy, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Her name was Lucy.
In the Sky with Diamonds, and
Sky.
that was a really weird character arc to end it with, where it's just like, oh, you think this means something? Nope. We're just. It's like, oh wow, like I can't believe they had the absolute fortitude to do that at the end of Brotherhood, and then just like, oh, she was a Templar. Okay.
Double agent.
I guess that's fine.
I don't know. That ended on a weird note there. Kind of lost. That's when I lost kind of all sorts of interest in the storyline after that happened in Brotherhood. I mean, it ended so well at the end, even though it was kind of ridiculous. You're fighting the Pope, but it was still an exciting ending to that game. If it just ended there, I'd be happy.
A Mortal Kombat-esque video game with just popes. You got Benedict, you got Francis, you got Pope John Paul II.
Bless him. Take a cross to the head.
Excommunicate his ass.
Oh, but we had that, and then we had anytime we get to see Reggie Fils-Aimé, it always puts a smile on my face. He had that video with him, and what was it, Nintendo president doing fighting each other. Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your ass. You know what? He is actually Donkey Kong. I realize this. He is, like, whenever you see him, he's always this big goofy guy with this big grin on his face and always ready to, he's gonna have fun, but he's also up to no good. Mm-hmm. And so it's just his shenanigans, and Iwata is his Diddy Kong.
That's a pretty good comparison, but I would say out of all the different press conferences, I think probably Nintendo did a pretty good job, and it got me interested to get a Wii U. Actually, there's actually games coming out. I really like how Bayonetta 2 looked. I mean, I absolutely love the first Bayonetta, and it's kind of a shame, but I mean, without Nintendo backing them, I don't think that we would have gotten a sequel to Bayonetta because it didn't sell that well. But no. I mean, Platinum Games is a great developer, but I'm really interested in probably buying a Wii U for Bayonetta, and the announcement of a new Yoshi game, which actually looks good. Actually looks good, and then the 3DS title they just put out there. I mean, this one actually looks like Nintendo really cares and wants to put out a good Yoshi game.
And also, let's not forget the real treat of Nintendo, which was Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric.
Sonic Boom.
God, even saying that name, the title, just it makes me want to punch someone. It's like, this is just too complicated. I can't get this angry over it just because I know even if it's good, it's not going to be all around good. There's still going to be weird things, like the fact that they keep trying to make Sonic games like Final Fantasy in terms of like the dramatic catharsis of it all. It's not going to happen. It's a giant, it's a 6-foot-tall talking blue hedgehog with red sneakers. You're not going to make it serious.
Sonic has been trying to make a comeback since Sonic and Knuckles. He's going to try to make a comeback since then.
Sonic R, Sonic Unleashed, was Sonic Adventure, Sonic, and it's Sonic and the Forbidden Night or whatever the hell that was. Shadow the Hedgehog, and then of course the infamous Sonic 06 release. I've never seen a franchise this absolutely fucked into the ground, and they're still going. Like, who keeps buying these games? Just most of it's gonna be shit. Like Sonic Generations was pretty fun, but there's you're not playing the great odds here.
I don't know. They're just diehard fans that just won't let go. I mean, I can't say anything bad because I'm a diehard fan of many things. Mm-hmm. And I would be happy to have some type of game, whether it be good or bad. But I mean, that's it is what it is. I'm a fan of Hitman. I'm glad that Square Enix has finally taken this franchise and been pumping out some content for. I mean, recently, with the Hitman Go. I mean, that's a good game.
Great reviews all around for it.
Yeah, including my review. Yeah, my review, my written review on the BGB.com. Which got retweeted by a developer. So kudos
Very, very nice.
Kudos to Square Enix Montreal. Made a good game there. They're getting another Hitman mobile game out. Hopefully later this year or next year. It's basically based off of the Hitman Sniper. It was the pre-order bonus. I don't know if you've got to play it. I'm trying to think if it is on. I believe it's on maybe the Hitman HD collection or somewhere else. But there was the pre-order bonus game it's just a standalone game where you just you're basically far away from across on a building. You're just pretty much sniping guys from across the different areas. So that was pretty much the whole thing. That was a pre-order bonus, and that was a fun sniper game.
Is it true that was based off of another game, and they retooled it and modded it to be Agent 47 world?
I mean that I don't know the story of in depth there, but I mean that was I think that was done by one of the. I think it might have been done by the developers who probably are working on the mobile games right now. I mean, they were initially meant to work on like a AAA Hitman game, and then there were some like layoffs at IO and Square Enix that just kind of changed things there. But IO's still back on creating a AAA Hitman game, so I'm looking forward to that.
And I would like to
you would like it
wrap up about Hitman Absolution.
No, but to continue off what we were discussing, you wanted to get into some Hitman Absolution. You actually got past the title screen this time?
I did. I actually got even further past the first loading screen, which I'm very, very happy about.
That's good.
I know not too many video game players get to do that these days, but gosh darn it, I was having a good time. But I was wondering if we could actually save that for a little bit later and just get our E3 stuff out of the way, and then we can talk about Hitman.
Sure, not a problem, man. I've been meaning to just talk to you or just anybody about Hitman Absolution. I haven't really talked to much of a lot of people about it. I know that's one of those things that it's sort of mixed between the Hitman fans, but we'll get into it. Definitely a little bit later here. I mean, I've written a review on it before, and
and I got something to say on that.
Yeah, definitely. So we were discussing a few different things about E3 here. So we had trying to recall. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of games.
We had Microsoft saying, "Look, come over here. We have Halo," and that little snippet of Halo 5 Guardians. The Halo, the Master Chief Collection, that might get me to buy a Xbox One just because it's got Halo 2 Anniversary on it, and from what I've seen so far, it looks glorious. And Sergeant Johnson, he looks like the angry son of a bitch I imagined in my real life.
Well, I hear they have like the HD and they have HD and regular like versions of like some levels.
Oh yeah, yes they do. They got the HD version of the anniversary version of Halo Combat Evolved, the new anniversary of Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and they're all running in HD and at 60 frames per second, which is awesome. Cool. And that's just kind of like a big booster for Halo 5, which is the same thing that they did with Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, where they did the re-release and had a lot of little like terminals and stuff like that to tease what was coming up later. And I was actually really surprised at Microsoft because they finally managed to realize, oh yeah, we need to sell games for this video game console. And they had Sunset Overdrive, which looks totally ridiculous. It looks like an episode of Jackass, but through the lens of like a Saturday morning cartoon.
It looks like a lot of fun. I mean, you never would have thought you'd see that much color in a video game these days. But hey, there's color.
What is this? Reds, blues, greens? Am I on LSD seeing new colors for the first time?
I actually like the step they're taking in the direction for this game. Like, it's developed by, I'm trying to remember their name, but they weren't they those same ones that were looking to do the. That put out that pretty cool Pixar looking spy game that one time, and then they just completely changed it to just this, derivative third person military shooter. With a Fuse game. Yeah, Insomniac.
They are the ones who did Ratchet and Clank, the Resistance series, and the original one, which was the one that the one you're referring to was Fuse.
Fuse, yeah.
Yeah, and originally it started off as another game called Overstrike, and the top nutty, crazy, Left 4 Dead multiplayer game. And then what we got was like this really boring, bland sci-fi universe, and this yam about military corporations, and it just felt so tired. And that's why just like seeing Sunset Overdrive go bananas is just so good.
Yeah, Fuse is no binary domain, man. It's got no big bow in it.
No, listen. I don't think there's ever going to be a game with as big of a personality as Big Bo and lovable unless it's Binary Domain 2 starring Big Bo.
Big Bo's Avenger.
Big Bo! Yeah, Big Bo's Day Out.
Well, that's good. Xbox got stuck to the games. I think that from what
Ori and the Blind Forest looks pretty good.
Yeah, from like what I read and heard, the PS4 kind of Sony did kind of a little bit of a step back on their press conference. They actually stuck to a lot more discussions on television than actually games, and then going on about how much the fans love them, which was, goddamn, that was a way long segment they got into.
Yeah. Okay, now they're starting to trade places.
Yeah.
Where Sony's now where Microsoft was, where it's like, okay, we gotta sell all these other hardware features and not really talk about the games. And then Microsoft is essentially like, oh yeah, people want games, so let's shift the focus there. And they're also getting rid of the Kinect for the Xbox One, which makes me very happy. So they're just full of shit from day one, where they're just like, oh no, this needs to be constantly online in order to fully embrace the users. Like, you can get rid of it day one. Okay, well then the Kinect is just, you need the Kinect always. No, you can actually get rid of it and it'll still work. Okay, you know what? Just screw it.
Amazing how much time has changed since that first announcement on that whole DRM and Kinect only fiasco there.
Yeah, it seems yesterday just seemed like miles away, and now PlayStation, the guys at Sony I don't know what their message is, because even the games that they like. Okay, first off, Last Guardian, that thing is either canceled or it's not. You can't do this limbo state of just like, oh, it's not the Schrodinger's cat of video games. Like, well, it might be dead, it might be not dead. Who knows? Like, just imagine the quantum physics involved. It's like, no, just tell us. And no matter how much I learn about the game, I still don't know anything about the Order 1886. Like, every time I try to look at it, it's like, so it's like alternate universe, like Dishonored, or is it in a magical world, or is it horror because it's got a werewolf in it? And it's just all over the place.
It definitely looks like it's all over the place. So it looks like it has supernatural elements in it, which could be an interesting new spin on like a third-person shooter where it has some supernatural elements in it. That I like. I'm a sucker for supernatural occurrences. I'm sure I'll be interested to see more of it. Definitely. I'm really looking forward to it. I might as well start getting into the big guns here, the big games that I'm definitely going to buy a next gen console for. I'm still undecided. I'm probably going to get a PS4, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's probably what I'm going to go with once these games come out. Batman, Arkham Knight, man.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. That one looks like I was wondering, like, how the hell are they going to do the Batmobile? Because that's just going to be like way too cumbersome. It's like, oh no, they did the Batmobile and it is badass.
You got the shot of Batman putting on his armor, this very high tech armor.
I'm sure Tony Stark is writing a cease and desist right now.
Borrow some Stark tech right there, and things are getting out of hand more than ever. Gotham City. You get a nice panning out shot here of Gotham City, and Batman gliding and profiling across the city,
and styling. It's just such a great. No, I gotta say, the redesign for Scarecrow, like, I loved his first one in Arkham Asylum. This one is terrifying.
Yeah,
it's because like he's behind like, he doesn't look like he has any lips underneath it. It just looks so creepy.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I mean, there's definitely some things going on. I mean, depending on, I guess, I don't know if it was randomized or not, but I mean, at the beginning of, like, at the end of Arkham Asylum, either there was like 3 different, like, hands that took down the Titan in the water. So it could have been like Bane, I think Scarecrow, and it might have been, I'm trying to remember who the last one was, but
Killer
Croc. But it seems like there's something, either it's just because it's a redesign, or there's something going on with him involving the Titan and how it affected him. So that could be something there, since it looks like he's gonna be mainly the focal point villain in Arkham Knight, which is good. Hopefully they don't pull a 180 and introduce the Joker again.
I'd say, son of a bitch. If they like have the clone of Joker or like the son of Joker, I will go to my GameStop store and just punch the nearest child in the face. I am sick to death of Joker. I'm sick of Batman, and I loved this trailer that they had for Arkham Knight, and I can't handle any more just like retreads, just because Arkham Origins, I thought, like, oh, that's interesting, it's going to be more like Christopher Nolan inspired, where it's like mostly crime and gangsters who are the bad guys, and all the supernatural and really weird guys don't come until later. It's like, oh no, it's the Joker. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And it's also near impossible to outdo Mark Hamill. I think I can't remember what his name was. He voiced not Nolan North. He's right in competition with Nolan North. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Shoot, he was Troy Baker. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
he was great as the Joker, but I can't take it anymore. Because Joker is Batman's Moriarty, but Moriarty isn't in every single Sherlock Holmes story.
Yeah, that's the main problem I had with Arkham Origins. That took a step back for me overall. I mean, I had my own issues with that game. I mean, that's something I don't want to get into, but pretty much, yeah. I mean, we were led to believe Black Mask was going to be the main villain in this game, but they just pulled one over on us and stuck to the same derivative villain. I mean, which is it is. I mean, that's. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's disappointing.
Yeah, but the thing is, I liked the whole psychiatric sequence that they had.
Yeah.
Of his point of view of everything, and just
that part was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was well done. And it this weird thing, like, if they stray away from the Joker, they somehow lose credibility. And I'm just terrified that not like the DC can't ever get away from those pairing up. That it just has to be this. I don't know. It's hard to get excited if the Joker's always going to be there. How can we miss you if you never leave?
Exactly, but it seems like from what we've seen, hopefully, fingers crossed, that they're sticking to
the Arkham Knight better sure as hell not be the Joker.
I hope not, but you never know. But it's looking fantastic. I mean, there's a amazing. It looks great. There's some new added elements. There's some combat takedowns, some different ones there, and we got definitely it's mainly the focal point of that one was just to show off the Batmobile, but it looked like it's well implemented in there. There's definitely a lot of space to drive around in, and there's actually cars there. So
well, yeah, I mean the terrain makes sense for the Batmobile because with Arkham City it's broken up segments and like the bridges are collapsing into the ocean, and in Arkham Asylum it's the asylum. You can't really drive a car through there unless you count that one scene where Bane goes flying into the water. But now that like it's a huge world, it looks beautiful to the point where I don't know if it's a cutscene. Just shoot, can you hear me?
Yeah, we just cut out a little bit. Goodness gracious.
Great balls of fire. But yes, it's Batman. Always looks good. I mean, nowadays Batman is the golden boy over for DC, so they gotta treat him right.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it was good. I mean, if you haven't seen the footage of it, I mean, by all means, go check it out. It's better to be seen than to try to explain it. I'm terrible at explaining things, but it was a great little demo gameplay we got going there. I wish that hopefully they'll show more, see what kind of other things you can do, but it looks great. I mean, that's all I can really say about that. And Witcher 3, man. Ooh. Now that you've played Witcher 2, you can appreciate the greatness that is that Witcher 3 trailer.
Yeah, oi, Witcher!
Gonna get more dwarvians and more banging of elves. It seems like here. It seems.
And
like
you get Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister is in there. It's great. It's just like a broader scale. They're definitely.
The hunting of the Griffin was pretty damn awesome.
That gameplay footage for that was amazing. It still looks like they're still keeping the same elements of The Witcher 2. It looks like there's some potions involved, and the regenerating health that takes a while. It depends on how you play it. If you take potions, it'll regenerate over time. In after combat, it goes back pretty quick, regenerates, but in gameplay, in actually fighting somebody, it doesn't really regenerates enough to where you would like, so it makes it a bit more challenging. But now it seems like they're taking this to another level here. Definitely looks like they're outdoing here with Skyrim here. I mean, that world looks enormous. I mean, you could just they were talking about how how in games you always thought that you could go all the way at the end of that mountain, but you can actually go there. That's the same feeling I had when I was playing Dark Souls 2. You see that there's like a castle in the game. You see it from a distance, and you actually walk towards it and actually go inside that castle. That was an amazing moment right there. And it seems like we're going to get a lot of that with The Witcher 3. You're just going and traveling such high depths. Up in mountains, going and killing griffins. It looks
ain't
like
no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
It looks like the great RPG that I've been clamoring for years.
And a really good dark fantasy RPG with a lot of interesting story elements, like the teasing stuff with the Wild Hunt, Yennefer, the elves coming back, the dark elves coming back. Like, ooh, this is really all coming to a head. I really like this.
Yeah, it was quite an impressive and good-looking trailer. I mean, all of it seems like it's in-game, so that they usually do some CGI trailers, but this looks like it was all in-game, so it looked gorgeous.
And of course,
Dandelion's in it, getting his ass whooped. I think it's actually. I mean, it definitely is taken from some of the. From some of the source material there. I mean, there's a character in there that is. In the books, they mention her in the books about her returning. It's very vague. They didn't really get into a whole lot there, but it's. I believe.
Was that the main female that was kind of like we have to find her. She's the key to all this.
Yeah, that's her. In the books, I believe her name was. I think it was Suri, but she's basically a girl of high. What is it? What's it called? Of high.
Priestess royalty.
Royalty. Yeah, like her parents, I believe, like her mom was like an elven queen, I believe, gets killed, and there's some war going on, and then she managed to escape, and I think Geralt ended up finding her and taking her into the Witcher Brotherhood and training her to be a Witcher. And then she has this kind of unfound power that she kind of has no control over, and then she, Geralt gets Triss involved. I don't know if they'll get into that whole thing in there, but she's already grown. I mean, she's already like a full-fledged woman in that trailer, so I don't know if they'll get into that. But it seems like that's what they're taking it from the books. So I mean, yeah, you should read the books. It's a really interesting reads.
Yeah, are there actual, like, have they been translated into English, or are there like fan translations with the Metro series?
A few years ago, there. I mean, there's a lot. There's fan translations for all the books now, I believe. But in actual like publication, early on when the first Witcher 2 from Witcher 2 came out, there was like, I believe, 1 or 2 books that were officially translated and published. But right now, I think they're up to 3 or 4 now that are translated. I think there's like 2 more that are still out there that hasn't been translated yet. But yeah, definitely read the Last Wish. Those are like a compilation of like short stories involving The Witcher, and it has characters in there like Dandelion, Yennefer, and Triss in it. So they're pretty good reads. Definitely interesting short stories in there that are quite good. And if you like the dark fantasy, that's really well written stuff there. That's what got me into enjoying The Witcher that more.
I'm sorry?
I mean, that's what got me into interested in The Witcher that much more. I mean, I love the lore of The Witcher.
Absolutely, and I'm still fascinated by just the profession of The Witcher, where it's a skill that's very needed, but for some reason everybody hates Witchers. Where it's just this repulsion, but necessary evil to have in this world. And I made a comment before on another thread page on Destructoid where there's like an overabundance of kind of the quote unquote Western fantasy of swords and sorcery, dragons, elves, British accents, knights, and that all stuff. But Witcher keeps it very fresh, where they have very interesting changes on genre or archetypes, definitely well-written characters, and it's just this very interesting personal view on morality in Witcher 2, where you have to find somebody's guilt. You kind of only have the evidence to really discuss, where you never have like a complete picture of what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a few instances in the Witcher 2 where that goes on. So it's, and I also like stories that don't necessarily lean towards something that's entirely good or entirely bad. It's always a gray area when it comes to the way they tell a story and how characters interact with each other. I like that aspect in storytelling, rather than just going with the straightforward traditional that this guy's bad, gotta stop him. But it's always something that you can kind of take a look at it from both sides and kind of understand where both are coming from, but and overall end up making a decision that it's not necessarily bad or either necessarily good. So that keeps things fresh.
I do, that was kind of, BioWare was kind of close to that, but they still had like this binary option of either you're this way or this way, where you're either light side or dark side, open fist or closed fist, paragon or renegade, and it's this either or thing that I kind of wish that they would step away from, especially when in Mass Effect you're a human, you're doing the job and you got to do it to whatever you think is the best outcome for the job. But then they tie morality points to it, and they judge you for what you're doing, and so it kind of takes that away. But in Witcher, it really is just you can continually use the what is the spell that makes it like the Jedi mind trick, where he's like, you don't need to see our identification. And then he gives the three finger Hunger Games salute, and then the shocker, and then people just oh, okay, I guess we don't need to.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
You can just like you do that to everyone.
Yeah, it actually. I mean, I've tried it a few times. It works on some people, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like they just kind of scoff you off to the side here. It's like, get out of here! What are you doing with the sorcery here? I don't even know what that's dictated with in order to make it work on everybody. It was kind of a weird mechanic, but yeah, it worked sometimes. Sometimes it didn't work. So sometimes you just wanted to fight a guy, so I didn't even bother. It's like, let's start swinging the swords here. Get the hell out of my way. I gotta save Triss.
Triss Merrigold. I really hope she has a much larger part to play in the third one, where she's not just like knocked out or captured. Just because, like, yeah, it's a good plot convenience because you got that nice, like, that lovely lady when you just like when she has that enchanted naked lake dip, you're like, okay, you know what? I think I'm invested in this relationship.
I'm willing to see it to the end here. But yeah,
and
it's good.
I'm sorry.
It's good. It's good sauce right there. Good.
Yeah, definitely good sauce and glazed on a game of awesomeness. Let's set to bake in the oven for a couple of months, and let's see what we get afterwards.
Yeah, it's not that far off too. It's like I was hoping it wouldn't come out like later, like late next year, but it's coming out early February of next year. So that's something to look forward to there.
Their Cyberpunk game was not shown.
No, unfortunately not. I mean, all we've really seen is just like, I believe it was like a teaser trailer, and it really didn't show much. I think it was just like still, like, I think it might have been like still images or it's like a still CGI where everyone's like frozen. Yeah, we had that, and have you seen the 30-minute gameplay for Metal Gear Solid?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was. The main story was in Peace Walker, and kind of there wasn't a lot going on in there, and kind of left a lot more questions than answers, and a bit overpriced. But yeah. Phantom Pain looks very interesting. And speaking of, Witcher going open world, Metal Gear Solid's going open world, and that seems like a damn good gameplay style that they had there.
Match made in heaven there. I really like the gameplay footage a lot. It definitely is. It pretty much is. I mean, I never finished Peace Walker. I got stuck on a tank mission. I was fighting a tank. I mean, I at the time I was playing it, I was really into it. I just did not really want to go into the grinding phase. Like, it was really one of those grinding games that you had to grind to get really ahead of it in the game. Like, I spent a good 30 minutes trying to fight this tank, and I could not even get it to 25% of his health. Like, it was that bad. But it's not a bad game. It's just it involves a lot of grinding. It's definitely. It was a portable game, so that's usually one of the elements to a pretty, decent portable game is to involve grinding. Kind of to get ahead. But I like the tone of it. I like the setting it was in. But Phantom Pain looks like it's definitely continuing taking the best elements of Peace Walker and expanding it further and making it look 10 times amazing.
Yeah, it looked. Yeah, I do like the continuous, tracking shots that they got. The just no breaks, just this constant flow of these incredible camera movements to get all this information. The combination of different games that they had. I think a little bit more of the sneaking element from Metal Gear Solid 3. They seem to have the whole Mother Base thing from Peace Walker. They have a lot more, I think, out in the field, like in Guns of the Patriots, and just this nice concoction and blend in an open world environment that I love. Also, you get to see a horse poop, and you get to steal a goat.
I mean, two things that we don't see a lot in games, but this is something different. This is next gen, CH. Horse pooping and kidnapping sheep.
Best game, 10 out of 10, game of the year.
This can't get any better.
And just I really am interested to see what Kiefer Sutherland's performance was, just because we only got a little taste, and from the trailers, it's it looks like he's Snake's being pushed to the very edge.
Nuclear.
Oh, that was a damn good song. I really did like that song.
That was a good song choice, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kojima flew out Tarantino just like, we need a song for this. Like, oh yeah, just get this one right there.
Yeah, good trailer. I like the gameplay. There's a lot to it. I mean, it's just mainly an expanded version of Ground Zeroes. So I mean, there's with a lot of added elements. Good stuff. I mean, I liked it a lot. I'm actually curious to see how I will play this, if I'm going to go with the reflex on or off, because that one, the reflex was interesting, an idea, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was like it made the game a bit too easy for me with the reflex on some instances. I might end up turning
I think that was
off.
to address
Yeah.
the issue of people who found the games too hard and too frustrating to wait through all, like, to memorize all the patterns, and just like in case like a guard just like suddenly spotted you, have a quick second to knock him out.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, maybe if it's a little bit more limited, I would be fine with it. But it seems like it could use it at any time. It doesn't seem like there's any limit to it. But I'm all for stealth games where you just stand around or hide behind the wall and just looking at patterns. I'm all for that. I did a lot of that in Splinter Cell. A lot of that in Hitman. You gotta remember patterns and know where everybody is, because there's so many things going on in there. You just gotta. I love just observing the environment and seeing what I can do. That seems like it's a lot of that in there. I'm curious to see as well, like you said. Kiefer Sutherland's performance on it. It seems like it doesn't seem like he talks too much in the gameplay, which could be good, because if you end up not being so great at a level, you don't want to hear the same dialogue repeat. So maybe that's what they're doing there. Maybe he'll just talk. Maybe you'll get a lot more out of him in cutscenes and things like that, rather than just in game. You don't want to You want to be constantly hearing him. Throughout the game as you're trying to sneak around. It's like, God damn it! I heard this damn dialogue 10 times already. I don't want to hear it anymore. That's the problem with some games. You gotta learn how to balance that.
Mm-hmm. That would be great if it just turned out like you have the basic line of dialogue, and then every time you you die or you get caught, like the dialogue just gets more like, listen, you know what to do. Just go. You're not gonna make it. Just learn, and then we'll do it next time. It's fine. Go. But yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's all looking fantastic. I love the seamless transition from cutscene to gameplay. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much everything we've seen for the most part with Ground Zeroes, but a lot more expanded and a lot more features added on there. And we saw the inclusion of just this very dynamic weather system they got going on there. It could be very unpredictable, and it could be used to your advantage, and it could be your disadvantage. And that in the fast forwarding as well. They're taking a cue from Deadly Premonition, having a cigarette and making time go by fast.
I wonder if flies will start appearing around Snake, and like he'll start growing a larger beard.
I mean, I could see Kojima doing that. I mean, that's definitely something out of the box there you would get. I mean, it still has that very Kojima Metal Gear Solid flavor to it. I mean, it's still relatively that. You get those quirky sound effects. You get the weird out of place moments that it's funny. It's not a game that takes itself seriously. There's always something there that can crack you up or make you smile, like just random stuff, like in like Metal Gear Solid 2, with the sexy posters and just all different kinds of Easter eggs all over the place.
Slipping on seagull poop.
Slipping on that and getting pissed on, yeah.
Johnny Sasaki and his irritable bowel syndrome.
Damn, Johnny Sasaki can't even enjoy a good meal without having to head to the bathroom right away.
Or being killed.
Mm-hmm.
There were many games where I was like, I killed his father, I killed him, this is just like the family that will not die.
keeps coming back, and a family of, with irritable bowel syndrome. It's quite the family tree they got going on there. Now I can only imagine how much poop they've accumulated over the years.
I gotta say, they are probably the reason that Pepto-Bismol is like at the top of the irritable bowel syndrome medicine food chain, where they probably own like 98% of the stock in that company.
You would assume so, yeah. But but other than that, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to bring up from E3. I know there's a lot of other stuff people probably want to hear us talk about, but we haven't mentioned. I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff, but those are mainly the highlights for me. It was like Batman, Metal Gear, and The Witcher. Those are the ones I'm really interested in. Definitely some other of the Nintendo titles there. We got Bayonetta, Yoshi.
Oh yeah.
And then the other Super Smash Brothers. I mean, I think I've only played one Super Smash Brothers game. I mean, that's all you need.
Heresy.
That's all I need from me.
Heretic, burn him.
I can't really be excited for the other games. I haven't played a lot of Zelda games, or really.
Ooh.
I know.
You're breaking my heart here, Splinter.
I know. I've only played like the first 30 minutes of Ocarina of Time.
Ah! My heart!
Your heart. My God.
The doctor says angina, but you're just squeezing my heart. Yeah, the new Zelda teaser, that looks great. I love the art style that they're going for, and it's just a big hubbub because Link looks feminine, or shall I say more feminine than usual. Might be. Link in this version is a girl, and that would be like gender progressive, and I don't think that's the case. But anyway, that looks good. I'm interested in seeing when it actually comes out, or a little bit more information. I'm really excited for the next Mortal Kombat game.
I was about to bring that up. The next Mortal Kombat game looked fantastic.
Yeah, it just because it is just so, I don't know. It's exhilarating to see that Ed Boon and everybody at NetherRealm Games was just like, yeah, we killed most of the characters in the first game pretty definitively. So we're going to start out, from the bottom and then work all the way to the top. We got not Cassie Cage and Kotal Khan and all these weird, there was if there's any big criticism of the Mortal Kombat games, that like all the player types are kind of the same. Mm-hmm. Where they're the same build, the same, movements, and now they're seemingly going with a different direction. And I am very, very happy to say that, it doesn't look like there's going to be any cheap-ass Shao Kahn, clones in there, just because, man, that nearly broke the game for me. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, not only is this guy invincible 4 out of 5 times, but, like, every time he hits me, it does, like, 50% damage, and when I get up, the animation cycle is basically where, like, then he smacks me right over the head, and that's another 50.
Oh my God, that
brutal.
That one took 10 years out of my life. That boss battle.
My heart.
It wasn't as bad as the boss fight in Mortal Kombat 4. I remember playing that as a kid. That one took me a while, but that one in the new Mortal Kombat was rough, dude. Especially since like you spent most of the campaign trying to learn. Like you're never stuck with like one character for the most part. You're usually switching off between characters, and you're just like, oh, I was getting used to this character, and all of a sudden you're thrown in with a new character. You're trying to learn their moves, and you're just stuck with the same one move. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was Raiden. Raiden I've never been good at with. So that's why I made it hard for me, because I think he used Raiden to fight Shao Kahn at the end. It was a tough one, dude. It was tough for me.
It is one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, finally I mastered Liu Kang. No, damn it, I don't want to play Kung Lao.
Kung Lao.
It just, I am very, very, like, I love the design of just like, as you were saying, Witcher has the dark Western fantasy going. This has like the dark, like middle, the dark Far East, just fantasy and just this death and destruction, and like there are like skeletons. Like one of the stages in Mortal Kombat is just like a beach with like a bunch of corpses on it. Like that's like the sunniest. Like there's a cutscene where Katana and Jade are having like a civil discussion amongst these corpses, and no one mentions it. I always like for some reason I just love that universe. So
yeah, the universe is interesting enough to get you back onto it. Man, they got they're taking a bit some cues from Injustice, some of the good aspects of it. They got the environmental attacks, which is cool. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking forward to it overall. I mean, that's really Mortal Kombat's been the only fighting game series I could ever get into. I can't really get into like Street Fighter or Tekken. I've never been good at that. Too much to remember. Too much going on. Mortal Kombat has been one that I always enjoy, and I mean, it was really one of my early games playing for the PlayStation growing up. So I have a placeholder for Mortal Kombat in my heart. So I always love any type of new Mortal Kombat game that's out there. So that one is looking very promising indeed.
Absolutely. And you know what, I just realized that Mortal Kombat is kind of the only Western fighting game that's well known and kind of well respected. Everything else is a Japanese fighting game, where Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Super Smash Brothers, all these games all these fighting games are pretty much just kind of Japan developed, and Mortal Kombat's the only one that's from the West.
Very true, very true.
Splatoon.
That one with
big surprise because it just looks fun.
Shooting paint. Yeah, it looks fun. I mean,
like fun in a video game. Yeah. You got to be out of your mind, and turning into a squid, and then going into your own paint and going up a wall, and it just looks so creative and inventive, and I'm like, this is what I want to see in the next generation. Just like cool new ideas for games.
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a step in the right direction on how to make a shooter, interesting. That's make it fun.
And it looks very colorful, bright, exciting, just fun, just like not dour and pessimistic. There are some games like, come on, Metal Gear Solid 5 and Mortal Kombat X. They got to be a little bit pessimistic and dour, but it's just so refreshing to see a very fun game like that in Sunset Overdrive.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And so that's kind of all I have to say on that subject. That's pretty. It was another Battlefield game. I guess that's a thing.
It is.
Kevin Spacey's in a Call of Duty game.
Oh yeah, that's something. And Rainbow Six is back and with a different name.
And I guess it was also a different sort of plot, because the original one was stopping home terrorists, and this one seems kind of just stopping terrorists, not really dealing with urban terrorism. I
mean, I really liked the trailer for that previous Rainbow Six game, the Patriots game. I really liked the trailer and the idea of it. I mean, maybe because it touches my love for terrorist storylines. Like I love 24, so it kind of touched on that aspect on it, but they just kind of I don't like they repackaged it. I mean, they canceled that game and remade kind of what they were going for, and for next gen pretty much. It doesn't have the same kind of ideas or aspects of that trailer, but it's a shame. But that's it looks interesting. I saw some of the destructible environments. Looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm a sucker for destructible environments. In any game, I always try to interact with the environment. I always try to do something interesting with it. I think that's a way to go for some games. I like interacting with the environment. There's definitely a lot of that. And when I was playing like the early Max Payne games, there was always a lot to do in the environment. Getting a soda or just turning on and turning off the TV and having someone acknowledge that you actually did that was really cool.
I love turning the faucets in The Darkness too.
There you go.
Like turning it on, turning it off. Run up the water bill, why don't you?
Stuff like that always gets me interested. It's a shame we didn't get any type of announcement of a Splinter Cell game.
Oh my god, that would have made... Well, they're still... The thing is, they're still working with Blacklist, because, from what I checked, releasing an actually rather large single-player DLC event, or, the big rumor.
Really?
And some people were rumoring that it was supposed to be, Splinter Cell's inclusion of, like, Metal Gear Solid characters. And it was supposed to be, like, a big, secret crossover thing.
What?
Yeah, and, maybe not bring in Snake, calling himself Snake, but, being essentially the character of Snake, but, fitting within that world. It wouldn't... Metal Gear and Splinter Cell, despite both being, military stealth games, they're not exactly compatible. And so that would have been really, really cool to see. Maybe they cancel it, who knows, but, I replayed Splinter Cell Blacklist recently, and I realized how much I love that game, and I didn't really see it until I replayed. Never believed I would say this. I got a soft spot for Charlie Cole.
Oh my god! I remember we talked about Charlie Cole when we first played the game. I remember you weren't so hot for him, and then you know how times change. Yeah.
I am wrong. I admit it. I am completely wrong. I thought he was a Mary Sue character, where he was just supposed to be, representing the young demographic, where it's like, yeah, I can hang out with the cool super spy and also be on it too and be the cool tech guy. And they actually have a moment where it's like, yeah, you almost killed the entire crew. Okay, you don't get to play cowboy. You have to actually work with the team and just. Charlie, I thought he was going to be that character, and I never got past that impression, and, I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm sorry. I owe you an apology.
Well, what turned you around? Was there like a particular scene or something he said that turned that whole thing around?
It was, it was a bunch of little scenes. I like the fact that he's standing up against Grimm and Briggs when they're trying to figure out if they're going to go to Dallas or Chicago for the Blacklist attack, and he's just he's pacing, he's not speaking out, he's not doing anything, he's just pacing the room, and Sam just like notices that, and he's like, yeah, what's the problem? It's like, well, I told Grimm, it's like, I'm asking you, what's the problem? And he actually respects the chain of command. And then the second one was when he was final when he accidentally got the bug uploaded to the plane, and it was just that moment where he realized that he screwed up incredibly, and Grimm's like, yeah, you think you're hot shit, and because of that you put all of our lives in danger, but you are good at your job and you can do this well if you work with a team. And he it's a little humility. Everybody gets that moment where like Grimm, Briggs, Sam, everyone gets a moment of humanity, levity, being a badass, being a hard ass, and like it's everywhere in between. Even Coben. I never thought like Coben would get like a redeemable arc, but it's close. He doesn't completely turn around, and Sam's like, yeah, I still hate your guts.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Even Coben had a little bit of that. Even thinking about the things he said in Conviction, just like it definitely, and what happened with the two agents in the prequel mission. Well, that one was an unredeemable part of him, definitely, because he got so invested with Archer and Kestrel that at the very end he gets shot down. You two have to shoot each other. One of you have to shoot each other down, and then you get shot in the back by this conniving son of a bitch. That was good. He's
like, you've seen the updated version of Battlestar Galactica, right? If not the entire show, then at least a little bit of it.
A few episodes. I think I'm on episode 8. I really gotta get back into that. It's a great show. I just don't have. I haven't had the time to watch it. It's too much episodes, but eventually I will watch them all.
First 2 seasons are pretty great. Everything else is kind of a rough patch, but Coben reminded me very similarly of Gaius Baltar, where he's this conniving son of a bitch who's only out for himself, and yet for some reason you really love him just because he's just so unapologetically about himself. Where he's, he's sometimes the smartest guy in the room, and you got to give it to him. And for Coben, he's like, yeah, I'm going to turn over all my clients just because I need amnesty. And I love how they didn't try to quietly retcon the Archer and Kestrel thing, where they bring it like full force front into like the actual dilemma, where he's like, yeah, is that Russian guy gonna pull through? Yeah, why? Like, do you have history with him? Yeah, I might if he wakes up. So let's just wait and see.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't gone back to Blacklist. I really enjoyed Blacklist. I've only played through full. I've only had a full playthrough of it once. I've been meaning to replay that again. Just haven't gotten the time to do it. I mean, I really. Just thinking about you bringing it up, it really got me interested in replaying that again and putting it my top priority, because I really liked that game a lot. I mean, it was, took the best elements of almost all the Splinter Cell games, Conviction and Chaos Theory, and really melded those two together really well. And I like the presentation on it too. I love the way the goggles look in the game, and the cutscenes are really good.
Mm-hmm. I love the goggles. I love how they took the superimposed text that they got and it went to town. They just had a grand old day. And I love the fact that they have those like projected images onto screens. It doesn't make any diegetic sense because like there's nothing projecting like Grimm talking to Sam like literally on the wall next to him.
It just looks cool.
But it's just so cool, yeah. And I actually have to say, I think Majid Sadiq in the game, although his motives are kind of sketchy, if you just listen to all the messages in between the mission briefings and just listening to all the stuff that's in and just like his philosophy, it's actually very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's and I think he's just although the ending was a little bit abrupt, they could have just fleshed that out a little bit more, I think. But I think that was actually a very well done character and a very well done threat for Sam and everybody. Yeah, because he's essentially got eyes and ears everywhere.
Yeah, he was an interesting villain out of kind of all the different ones we've had in the Splinter Cell universe. He was interesting. We wish we'd have gotten a bit more screen time from him, but he was good, well acted. The ending.
Did you see me on 24?
He was on 24. Yes, I didn't want to bring it up, but he was on 24. Chloe O'Brien's fiance, I believe. He was good on 24 too. So, the ending kind of boss battle with him reminded me a lot of the boss battle of. It was more of the previous gen version of Double Agent. They had that standoff with Dufresne. Yeah. It reminded me of that a little bit because you had to sneak from cover to cover and kind of get him from behind when he was looking, or else he would just kind of one shot you. That was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of that.
I gotta say, I'm of two minds of that boss battle. For one, it comes out of nowhere, and especially with the quick time events, it's sudden and you don't get any warning. But on the other hand, it feels a lot different from the rest of the game, and it feels something special and very visceral and fast, because it's not like this big drawn out boss battle. It's just Sam gets close, shoots him in the shoulder, and then they have an up close fight, and Sam just spoiler alert, cuts his hamstrings, and and then he's just that's it. It's just like a very quick fight, but it feels so, I don't know, feels so focused on in a different gameplay mechanical sense that it almost makes it more special. Yeah. But for those who didn't like it, I can completely understand. Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand that the game, but it was I liked it for what it was. It was different. It wasn't how I pictured it to end. But it was different, and how that happened, and that the fight they had, it felt natural. I mean, it didn't have to be this big drawn out boss battle. That's not what Splinter Cell is about. But it felt natural to me. I thought it was it wasn't the greatest, but I thought it was fine. For that final confrontation. I thought it was fine, and it just felt really natural. It didn't feel like it had to be this big boss battle. It didn't need to be.
And I gotta say, for the actors who did Grim and Sam, Eric Johnson, I remember as Sam Fisher. I gotta say he did a very good job. It's almost near impossible to fill the role of Michael Ironside, especially he's just got that voice. Like you hear that, it's like Sam Fisher. Either that or you're the platoon leader in Starship Troopers. And just the one he voiced and acted Sam really, really well. I thought he just did a fantastic job, and same goes for the voice actress who did Grim, and Charlie and Isaac and Coben. Everybody, they just did a really great job.
Yeah, everyone was really good in it. You bringing up the Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid crossover got me thinking of a funny scene that I created in my head of Sam arriving at a base to infiltrate, and then he radios in, thinking he's Lambert, and then Otacon just remotes in. I'm your new intel there, Sam. It's like, oh, damn it.
Let me tell you about this metaphor I was thinking about. Can love bloom on a battlefield? It's like, this is not helping me take down this Sunni insurgency, man. Just cut the crap. I just love the fact also that Sam Fisher just keeps getting younger with every game, and and Snake just keeps getting progressively older. Where even to the point in Metal Gear Solid 4 where he just becomes an old man.
Interesting how those two are going the opposite in terms of their character design. Each game.
One is going Robin Williams and Big. The other one is going Benjamin Button.
Yeah. But Blacklist, man. Now you got me interested in replaying that. That game was really good. I feel like it didn't get as much praise as I would have liked it to. I felt like it came out and people who were looking forward to it, played it, but I don't know. I felt like it could have definitely easily been up there, like top 5, top 10 game of the year materials. Right? I mean, that game was really solid.
It was, and I think a lot of I think it was a lot of the also before criticism of the Splinter Cell doing the torture scenes that I'm really glad they removed, just because that didn't really add anything to the story or characters. Besides, being torturing, and Sam just does that in a cutscene. You don't really need to be more involved with that, and also just the fact that they kept advertising the violent aspect, the lethality of Sam Fisher, of killing all these people, and people were just saying like, yeah, wasn't this about like the time where you could sneak around all these bad guys or knock them out non-lethally, and they kind of had a point, and it just seemed like they had to admit that and just go back to the drawing board and get all that done, and I think that was hanging over their heads. And the one criticism that I think still is valid is there's some a little bit of screen tearing and a little bit of frame rate issues with some of the cutscenes that they got in there. But besides that, it's an incredible game, and frankly, I can't wait to see what the next Splinter Cell game brings.
Definitely, same here. I mean, I'll always be up for a new Splinter Cell game, man. It's the series is near and dear to my heart. I played the hell out of Chaos Theory, and you and I have had countless hours discussing Double Agent, which a very underrated game in the series. It's like we mentioned, a lot of great ideas in that one, but Blacklist was amazing. I mean, it's just usually one of those things where people get the wrong impression on it because of what they show for E3, because they got to show something that will get people interested, but action packed, but the game offers both play styles, and even the third one, I believe, there's the little bit of action and stealth, completely stealth, or just all action. I mean, it offers that. It's a very dynamic stealth action game.
Yes, indeed. And you were talking about Splinter Cell Conviction, and a lot of people said that that's where Splinter Cell maybe went a little too far, and that It's strayed away from the roots. And with that criticism, I would like to bring up the next game I would like to talk to you about, which is Hitman Absolution. Because some people felt very similarly that Hitman with that game strayed away from its roots and went a little different than what people wanted.
Yeah, Conviction and Absolution have very similar similarities in terms of the direction they've taken from their past game. But yeah, definitely, right away, sir. I mean, you've gotten past the main title screen as we brought up before. And I'm not sure how far you are into it right now, but what are your
I'm on the first tutorial. Don't spoil it for me.
All right. The spoilers is the shooting is a lot better, so that's good.
Oh yeah. It's still, it wasn't, Blood Money, the shooting wasn't terrible, but it was obviously not exactly the default way to deal with your surroundings. Like you were almost forced to, if you wanted to do this well, you'd have to not shoot people at random.
Right.
And in Absolution, it also did a little bit of what Splinter Cell did with Double Agent, which they had a more personal story, which is Agent 47 got burned by his handler.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what her name is, the British lady.
Diana Burnwood.
Diana Ross?
Diana Burnwood, yeah.
Diana Ross.
We'll go with that.
What the hell is Diana Ross in there? I don't know why I was thinking about that.
Yeah, she works for the Hitman too, so
that'd be an interesting DLC skin.
Yeah.
But she burns the entire agency that they work for, kind of randomly, where she takes all of her resources and disappears. All the hitmen on contracts are exposed and killed, and the agency brings itself back together. And the first thing Agent 47 has to do is, I gotta kill my handler. And she used to be the kind of only source that I could trust, and now I gotta kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Learn a little bit more about why, and it's obviously a bigger conspiracy going on, and it's a very interesting yarn about the demons that both Agent 47 and Diana kind of had to face, and sort of both something similar that they're both fighting for. And I do like the fact that a lot of the dialogue is very subtext and very saying one thing and meaning another. Like one of his lines I just love is that one day I will think of this as just another job, because this is what I do. And he doesn't talk about the personal stuff, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's just very, very interesting. I'm going to spoil the first level, so don't listen if you don't want to be spoiled on it. Where Diana's just in the shower. She's completely defenseless, and she's going, "Wait!" and he just shoots her right in the chest, and that's cold. I remember that money where that the bellhop was just like, "Oh yeah, here's your mail, sir." It's like, "Oh, thank you." Uh-oh, red letter. "Hey, I got your tip over there. Go to the bathroom." What? Like, shoot right through the heart.
Yeah, if you thought that was cold.
Yeah, he's a cold son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that I still the Hitman franchise reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid and a little bit of Tarantino, just because it's kind of this very serious, gritty world, but they're just these exaggerated, comical characters, but they are also pretty threatening too.
Mm-hmm.
And and of course I love the little cameos of Kane and Lynch in there. It's like, damn it, guys! I know you got a good game, and you just got to keep going.
That was pretty cool, actually. That was a pretty interesting use of those characters that I've seen. I mean, IO's been pretty good about that. They always include Easter eggs of their past games within their games. So I didn't expect that, but it was interesting.
They got the voice actor for Lynch.
Yeah, they got the same voice actors, and that was a cool scene and level. There's definitely a few levels there that are really short, They can complete like in 5 minutes, but they're just kind of there to serve a purpose to transition the story. This game is very story focused, as in Blood Money. It was mainly the only time they would show cutscenes is just kind of it was an excuse to kind of get you from one level and location to the other. That's what mainly the cutscenes were for. Like I mentioned, they're very Splinter Cell and Hitman very similar. A lot of similarities between the two. A lot of people get down on the story and the characters for both games for the most part. Some people don't care about the story for both games. I mean, as you and I, we really care about the story and characters for Splinter Cell. We really like the story for those. And the same goes for me in Hitman. I really like the lore and just the overall arcing character of 47. I think it's a very underrated character. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to him that
he's the man with no name.
There's a lot to him, man. He says a lot without saying anything. And I just find his motives interesting. Yeah. I just find his motives interesting, and you don't know what he thinks all the time. So it's very interesting to see a more kind of personal story involving him. Take that to the forefront with this game.
Similarly with Conviction and Conviction, both Splinter Cell Conviction, they have more of a focus on gun combat and more kind of faster gameplay, and both of them have sort of more quicker linearity in terms of the maps, whereas in Blood Money it was kind of these sort of open environments that you would learn about, that you would find ways between. You would get disguises, you'd hide yourself, you make distractions. And in Absolution, it's more of a linear path, and you kind of have to think quickly on your feet of where to go and kind of what to duck and miss. And you have also that the vision that you have of if you play regular mode, where you can see enemies, you can see special items and weapons, and it's a lot quicker. And maybe more so than Splinter Cell, because Splinter Cell was kind of known for having sort of linear map designs that you just have to kind of get around, and Hitman had been known for kind of having an open level, and so I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it, because it was more akin to the map design of a Splinter Cell game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just but it's also very similar to old Hitman games, because you unlock things as you progress in terms of the money you gain. And for me, I owe so much money, because it's like you're down negative $100,000. Like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have killed all those people in that room.
Yeah, it can go either way. I mean, I personally liked Absolution for what it was. It wasn't. I like Blood Money. Is always going to be one of my top games of all time.
Yeah.
Blood Money was a real gem of a game. There's a lot to it. Absolution is good. I like the route they took in exploring a little bit more about 47's morality and getting a little bit more of a story going in there. I've always been, like I mentioned, I've always been interested in the lore and the story of Hitman games, and some of them are more subtle than others, but this one was pretty interesting. There's definitely a lot of other interesting characters going on there. What do you think about Dexter? His first introduction. That guy is nuts.
He's a couple aces short of a full deck. He's very Dexter's crazy, and I hope I'm thinking of the right character.
Mm-hmm. The southern guy with the cowboy hat.
Oh yes, that is him. I do like him. I do think he's just a very interesting counterpoint of just Agent 47. He's just like, get in, get out, do my thing, whatever. But Dexter just like, I'm gonna burn every. I'm gonna enjoy myself while I'm doing it. Like, that's an interesting dichotomy they have there.
I like his first introduction. It's like, His performance is really good. Keith Carradine, I believe, who does him.
I did not know Keith Carradine did that.
Yeah, his performance in it is really good. I like the line where he goes like "yeehaw." It was like "motherfucking yeehaw."
Oh yeah.
When he kills the maid or something, or that one was pretty good.
I do, and I gotta say, I do just love the darkly humorous scene in the first one where, the guy is just hanging out of the window and he's just like, what, doctor? What's that? You mean I don't have cancer? Oh wow, this is great. Nothing can ruin this day. And then I just had to just take him out and just like throw him out the window. Oh boy,
that's
going down for that one.
Yeah, the trademark dark humor IO has going on there. I love it. A lot of that in that game. Just a lot of well written dialogue between those NPCs are really good. Like it just makes me stop and not continue the mission. I just want to like hide behind a corner and just listen to what they have to say. No matter how inane or stupid it is, it's just so interesting to listen to some of the NPC dialogue. It's so well written.
They have a great ear. They don't waste a single speaking line. Like they perfectly space them out, and they have very interesting things. It's not always just one type of conversation. It's a myriad of things. Like sometimes you'll encounter just like genuine guys who just like talking to each other about a football game or a car or talking about like a date one of them just had, and then you'll meet like complete psychopaths. You're like, yeah, I can't wait to kill him. I can't wait to do this. Like, just such a very interesting variety.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, this game looks absolutely gorgeous, man. I love the engine they got going on. This is really good. I mean, some people harken on it for looking too much like filters. Yeah,
you see those everywhere.
Yeah,
the Husky Blues.
Yeah, his blue eyes are quite apparent in the game. A lot of kind of like lens flare, a lot of filters going on there, like a lot of bloom in that game, which adds to kind of its own style there for that game. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I didn't mind it. I thought it looked really good. I mean, the best looking game, best looking Hitman game by far. I mean, compared to those models they had in Blood Money, with everyone having like big gorilla hands. It's definitely a far. It's definitely gone far from that, but I like that about Blood Money. It added its own flavor to it. It's just overblown, over exaggerated character designs and how the women looked in that game, and how they walked. It was so out there.
It is strange. It is a different universe from mocap. From comparing mocap to animation, because with animation, the characters they don't pause for things, like they don't move naturally like human beings, which kind of gives this odd quality to it. It's not completely removed from reality, but it's just enough to make it sort of like, okay, this is its own thing. And when you get closer to reality, you kind of have to walk that line even finer, especially in a universe like Hitman, with assassin nuns.
Assassin nuns. You got to that point yet already? The assassin nuns?
I have not. I just have that trailer burned into my skull. All those nuns, and then suddenly they all have machine guns. Like, oh yes, this is the Hitman game I know.
I don't know why people have so much issue with that trailer, man. I mean, if you've played the Hitman games, it has that very out there, very dark sense of humor. Like from seeing that trailer, you can tell that's definitely a Hitman game. I mean, you'd get those kind of very exaggerated, overblown, kind of sexualized women, which. I mean, they are sexualized, but I mean, I personally I'm not into bondage, so it doesn't bother me, or it doesn't get me hot and bothered. So that's a very niche market. That
it's like you're either into like the hot nuns or bondage. You can't have both. You're just being greedy. And I think people did that just because it's it's like a knee-jerk reaction. If like their first impression of a game is betrayed, then they get much angrier.
Yeah.
Much more serious, much more not as exaggerated or fantastical. And then they had the nuns, which that's in another world. Same thing with the Wind Waker, where it was first like, okay, it's like a really realistic Legend of Zelda game, and then it was cel shaded, or Halo 2, where it was, it's about Master Chief on Earth, and you're only on Earth for like one mission. Or Metal Gear Solid 2, where you thought like, I'm playing as Snake, you're playing as Raiden. People will get infinitely angrier if their first impression of the game is betrayed, which is my theory.
Yeah, most likely that's probably one of the causes of it. I mean, the trailer I thought the trailer was really good for that. I mean, it's also those games have also been known for stirring up controversy, especially with their advertising. Some of them have been pretty. They know what they're doing. So when it comes to some of the controversial advertising, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the advertising for Blood Money. But people had a lot of problem with that one. There's just a few different ones that just like there was. That was back when the magazines were popular. So they had the advertisements in there. So they had like one advertisement of a woman just shot with a bullet hole in the head, and it's just beautifully executed. That was the advertiser for Blood Money.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean that one I didn't mind so much. The Facebook advertisement that one was bad. I'll give those people that had trouble with problems with that. I'll give them that. That was pretty bad.
I gotta look that one up just because I don't remember.
It was basically an advertisement on Facebook for Absolution. It was just you pretty much like you could put a hit on people for all sorts of oddball reasons, and they had like templates in there. It would say I put a hit on you because you have small tits or small penis. It was terrible.
Oh,
it was a terrible advertisement.
Oh God.
It was not a good.
Someone should have said, maybe we should reconsider this.
Yeah, I think just somebody accidentally put it out there. Oh crap! Hit the wrong button.
Oh no, it's out there already.
Can't go back.
Yeah, it is that fine line of like advertising, which is clever and actually has something to do with the game. Like the beautifully executed one. That's actually. That's pretty clever. It's like it's both a statement on, the advertisement that is, somehow romanticized and beautiful, yet, same time talking about the assassination.
Mm-hmm.
And, same thing with I think one of the greatest pieces of game cover art of all time, which is Borderlands, where it has, the guy pressing his two fingers to his temple and firing it like a gun, and then just like on the other side of where the quote-unquote bullet hole would exit out of, it's just like this huge splash of adventure, of guns, of mayhem, and just like that was brilliant because that actually speaks volumes about the game, but it's also very clever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that walking that fine line, you're gonna piss off somebody if you do something that's unique.
Yeah, for the most part. But to get back on Absolution, I actually was playing a little bit of it today because I know we were going to talk about it. Played a few different levels. I don't know if there's been an update for it or not, but it seems like the sky system has been tinkered with a little bit in this game. Because I remember when it first launched, the detection on that thing was really quick. You had to get out of sight. If you saw somebody wearing the same clothes as you, they would identify it really quick. It seems like they updated that a little bit. It gave you a little bit more leeway this time, so you're not all of a sudden getting detected and your disguise being blown.
Oh my God! You wore the same thing I did. You bitch! Get him.
But no, it's at first during that launch it was hit and miss at the sky system. I missed the sky system for Blood Money, but I could see why they may have adjusted it or adapted it, because it can be pretty easy when you have a disguise on. You kind of get through different parts of the map in that game. But since this is more linear, they had to make it a little bit more challenging on you when you have a disguise. So Basically the way it works is, if you have the same disguise as somebody else, usually if you stand in front of them too long, they'll detect you and notice that they don't know who you are. Some aspects of that work. Oftentimes you can just turn if you're not facing them, then that whole that bar will go down, so you won't get detected. So as long as you're facing away from them and not walking towards them, you can get away pretty easily. So once you figure that out, it's pretty smooth sailing. Or you can use the instinct as well.
Yeah. I was just about to say I'm terrified of going up to the higher difficulties just because I won't have that instinct meter I just slowing things down and also hiding myself and just like by rubbing my temples in the game. So I'm not confident enough in my own abilities to change up the difficulties.
Yeah, sometimes wearing a disguise is beneficial. Sometimes not wearing a disguise and just going with your basic suit and tie can get you a long way there too, because you're not being detected by anybody unless you're in a trespassing or restricted area. Then that's when everyone will be on high alert for you. But if you're just out and about, they don't really bother you. So. The disguise system works either way, depending on how you want to go about certain missions and get about certain levels. I actually figured out an alternative to that level, where you when you get your guns back, your silver ballers.
Oh yeah!
I actually found an alternative to that part. Instead of having to compete in that gun and shoot off with that chick, you could just pretty much steal a card key to unlock a safe that gets you the combination to a safe that has a key, and then with the key you just unlock the case and take your ballers with you. You don't even have to participate in that gun shoot off at all.
Okay, that's what I thought the plan was, because I am at that level exactly.
Yeah. And
I have done the shoot off I don't even know how many times. I realized on the fourth go that I needed to do the multiple instinct kills,
right,
for the larger points, and I just screw it. I gotta find somewhere else around, and so I thought they usually have an alternative system, and then now I know I need to get the combinations underneath the shooting range.
Yeah, like there's right when you walk into that gun place, there's the counter there with all the different guns. Like the guy that stands there guarding the register, that's where the card key is. You gotta get the card key, get past the guy at the register, and head outside to the gun range. You keep going straight. You make a right. There's a place that has a key card that you swipe. You go in there. There's a safe. You get the key. Then you go back and get the silver ballers, and that's the end of the mission. I've only played that mission once. The first time that I played it. I did not know you could do that. I just pretty much went the route of doing the gun shoot off, and once I figured out that you had to use the instinct to get higher points, and that's how I got them back, just by winning that gun contest. I'd never really gone back to replay. I was a little disappointed in that level at first, because I thought this is the only way you go about it, and I just it was one of those times where I did not look around the environment as much as I would have normally, and I didn't notice that there was an alternate method of completing that mission. I mean, it still retains a lot of the main focal points and main selling points of the Hitman series. It's just more linear. That's really all it is. That's why people had a problem with it.
It's the conviction of the series, where they speed it up a little. They lose a couple of things, I think, from the previous ones in order for them to accomplish what they wanted to do with this game. And I hope that the next Hitman game might be their Blacklist, where they think of a way to actually get both of those playstyles underneath.
I hope so. I mean, they haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but they are working on another Hitman game, and definitely they've stated that they're going back to the roots of the franchise, taking the best elements of Blood Money and Absolution.
Money.
I mean, imagine replaying some of those Blood Money levels with the Absolution engine. I mean, that'd be amazing.
Oh yeah. I could see it now, and the rain is gone.
But yeah, I really enjoyed some of those other levels a lot more than I did originally, especially that one in particular. Getting your equipment back, that was really good. I was very pleased to find out that you could take an alternate method with it, because I never really looked online to see what other people did. I just kind of went through it with a clean slate of mind and played that game the first time, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And going back to it again, I really found a lot of alternate routes playing it again. Much like I did with Blood
spoils
Money.
it for you if you watch somebody else's playthrough, like a master playthrough.
Yeah, and I never seen, and I've rarely seen any videos people have done for Blood Money. I'm sure there's definitely a lot of different ways people have taken missions than I have, but I've kind of figured out my own methods for playing a lot of those different levels in Blood Money. I would say I'm pretty good with some of all the levels in Blood Money. I kind of know almost everything that it has to offer and the different ways you can go about it. There's probably one mission that I'm not the best at, is the Mississippi level. I believe it was on that ship. That one was really tough for me because there was like 7 enemies you had to kill in that level. There was a lot of enemies you had to kill in that one.
Yeah, that one. I distinctly remember it. Like, I tried to do very stealthy for almost every other single level, and then for that one I just went guns blazing. Like, I'm killing everyone. I don't care. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, I reached a point myself where I ended up doing that. I didn't care about getting a silent assassin rating. I'm sure people have done it, and I'm amazed that they were able to do it, because that level was really expansive. That was a pretty big level. There's a lot of layers to that, and there's like 7 different targets you had to kill, and they're all over the place. And so it really required a lot of focus and detail to actually complete that level, especially if you're doing it on a harder difficulty. I couldn't imagine doing it on that harder difficulty, because you're limited on saves. I don't think you get saves at all on the harder difficulty, but that one was that one was good. But I think there's a lot going on to it for my liking. But it was still a solid level in Blood Money. But there's definitely a lot of other levels that I like the most.
For Blood Money and Absolution, all the levels are very different from each other. They have a different feeling. Like, you never play one. Like, the Mardi Gras level does not feel anything like the Mississippi level, and same goes with Absolution. Everything feels much different from each other.
Exactly. So, Absolution. So you're at that point right now with the gun range. That's as far as you gotten.
Haven't gotten the classic silver ballers yet. So
okay.
I'm gonna beat it, and I will.
Yeah, you're about halfway in the game. I think there's like 20 overall main missions. With the kind of the levels being split up from each other in different sections. The checkpoint system. What are your thoughts on the checkpoints? Because they don't have any manual saves anymore. They just there's the levels split up between sections and checkpoints.
I'm sorry.
Some of it worked for me. Some of it didn't. Like, I didn't like how you couldn't save or advance to the next level if you're on high alert. If you were on a high alert, you couldn't go on to the next section. Like, you couldn't open a door to get out of there. That kind of sucked, but
it's a bit of both, because I think it offers a bit of a challenge to only kind of leapfrog from one save point lily pad to another, and just figuring out how you're going to get there. But it's also a little bit constraining that you don't get to have the ability to kind of save wherever you darn well please, and it
can go either way. It was definitely a design choice that I'm sure they racked their brains about, because definitely the manual saves are good, but they can also make things more easier as well. If you can save at any point. I know I've definitely done that a lot. Where I saved a lot on crucial points where I wanted to get the timing right on certain things, and I just couldn't get it, and I didn't want to restart the whole level. So I just save at certain points and just kind of kept doing it till I got it right. So that was the whole trial and error aspect of it. But I could definitely see what they were going for with the checkpoint system. Advancing to the next one and just kind of resets the score. The scorecard on it and just continue on, and it accumulates all the points you've done throughout the whole level and just gives you a final score. I know I brought it up before when I initially talked about it. I wish you could disable the scoring system, and not, so you don't actually see it, because sometimes it deterred to me what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be the best at a level, but sometimes you gotta lose some points to gain some points. So that aspect was fine, but I just couldn't help. I couldn't help but look at the scorecard. I was like, damn, I'm sucking right now. I knocked out a guy. I knocked out a guy. I lost 100 points.
It's one of those things that maybe they should have just made a DLC update or something. There was that one point in, I also felt the same way for Blacklist, where I try to turn off all the stuff sometimes just so I can have a fully kind of immersive experience, but there are still things that pop up, like the top left mission objectives, even though sometimes they just don't go away until you do them. And this is kind of the same way, where I feel like someone should have just made a little something to just turn it off.
Sure, yeah, that would have been nice, but
even if it was just replaced like with an infinity symbol or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is, but I liked it for what it is. Going back to it just today, and I think you probably already gone to this point already. It was the part where you go inside I think it was like a strip joint, some type of a strip joint. That one was interesting, and definitely. I don't think I have.
Yeah,
I haven't. Maybe not yet.
I may not have. I could have completely just bounced out of my brain, just not even remember doing that. But I don't recall, so I will definitely investigate.
Yeah, it was like a strip bar. I think that's really the only time in the game you go through that. It was like a strip joint. Maybe it's a little bit later on from where you're on right now.
I have a feeling that you're right, and I just didn't really recognize it at the time. I was probably like, "Ooh, that's a gun I could pick up. Like, I could pick up this bottle."
So yeah, there's certainly a few points where they try to outdo the Mardi Gras level. That's definitely the Chinatown level was the most perfect example of it, with all the different NPCs walking around.
Mm-hmm. Escape level, and was it like New York?
It was like somewhere in New York. It really boggles my mind how they were managed to pull that off. It really is a pretty impressive technical feat that they managed to pull off. Just even though most of the animations were the same, and all the character models were the same, but it was still impressive how they managed to get that much NPCs on the screen in Blood Money originally, mm-hmm. while having it just completely crash or just drop frames. Like, I never drop frames at all when you're on that level. It was just really impressive.
It's everything else aside, they do have quite technical feats of strength pulled off in Absolution.
Yeah, that goes to show as well. Yeah, I mean, you're still pretty sort of to the 40-50% margin on Absolution. So I mean, there's still a lot to go through. There's definitely some other interesting levels as well that are yet to come that you haven't seen yet. So I'm definitely interested in getting your thoughts on it, and just I guess the overall arcing story. There's some few things there left that you may not have seen yet in terms of the story, but
mm-hmm.
It's an interesting story. Good to see.
Yeah.
Good to see the David Bateson return as 47. Yeah. He is the Michael Ironside of the Hitman series.
I also have downloaded the alternate voice, and I don't know what he sounds like, so I'll give him a shot after I complete the campaign.
Oh, really? I did notice that there's a free DLC you can download that's like like the English audio
Yeah.
version. I don't know what that's about.
Cherry, you seem to have shot me.
I don't know.
Dear sir.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's going to be just all like British voice acting, or it's going to be like the alternate voice of 47. I don't know what that whole audio thing's about. There's like a gig, I believe.
I think gig and maybe a half where I think that was actually the original. A lot of the original voice actors, and then they come under some pretty big criticism for not returning with David Bates, then for the role of Agent 47, and then they kind of gave in to like, okay, fine, we'll put him back in the game, and I think it was one of the guys who played a character on Lost, who also did the motion capture performance. For Agent 47, so I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe it's just something else completely. But I will definitely give it a look-see to check it out.
Yeah, that's something I've been curious about. I just haven't had the patience to download it to see what the audio is about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me know if you ever get to replay it again with that audio.
Well, first I got to find that damn strip club.
There we go. That's gonna be a mission to find it. Yeah, it shouldn't be far off from where you're at. I mean, you should be pretty close to getting to that point. I believe if you've already seen Kane and Lynch, it may have been, or maybe one of the guys. It might have been Kane.
Mm-hmm.
You will see Lynch after at that gun range.
Oh yeah, and he's still psychotic as always. That just makes my heart to smile.
Mm-hmm. But overall, you're enjoying it pretty good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it pretty darn good, and I'm looking forward to what else it has.
Yeah, one of the other things I just thought about right now is that what are the weird designs in that game is the bodyguard for Dexter is that just giant behemoth of a man. It looks like Danny Trejo comes out of nowhere and just takes down 47 like nothing.
Yeah, it is that moment where he breaks the calm of 47. Like even in cutscenes where he's facing off against someone, he's either beating them senseless or matched equals. Then just like, oh nope, he's gonna get his ass kicked.
I can't wait. Later on that level, you get his comeuppance, and 47 definitely whoops his ass later on in that game. It's an interesting level too. I'm curious to replay that and see where I can go with that.
Looking forward to it.
That one was really cool. You get to I won't spoil it, but you get to fight him. So that's all I will say.
Ooh, I'm hoping it's giant mechs, but I won't hold my breath.
Pacific Rim DLC soon to come. I mean, there's a lot of DLC for that game, dude.
Mm-hmm. A lot of costumes and alternate weapons.
I remember I got one of the alternate costumes, but I don't even know how you use it. How you get it? I never figured that out because like the game pretty much like the game progresses from scene to scene, and depending on where you're wearing, he'll be wearing that. Not in the cutscene, but in the actual game itself. So I don't know how you start a level with him wearing like the Deus Ex DLC suit. It's weird.
That would be great if he was just like trying to have like that serious conversation with Diana while wearing like the chef outfit. The drama of the scene is temporarily removed.
It's good to see all the various disguises he can wear. It's just so much disguises. Even the Easter egg disguise from Blood Money, the Mardi Gras level of the bird, the murder of the crows,
the giant bird. Yeah,
that was awesome.
Well, I hope to encounter all those fun little items, and I will let you definitely know what I think of the game as soon as I'm done with it.
Very cool. So, yeah. Other than that, I've just been mainly replaying a little bit of Absolution just for this discussion, and playing a little bit of some of the HD collection as well for Hitman.
For posterity's sake.
Yeah, for Contracts, and I played Contracts and Hitman 2: Silent Assassin. I mean, those games those games are definitely a perfect example of how expansive they got and how alternate means you can go about levels. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, if you like Blood Money a lot, those past games are definitely worth going back to. But
Blood Money, so maybe I can just invest in the HD collection.
Yeah, the HD collection is good. It pretty much is like the PC version. I mean, you could probably run it on the PC these days, but I personally don't like going and configuring and mapping all the keys to the controller. That just takes too much time for me. Mm-hmm. But playing the HD
time you could spend karate somebody
or shooting them in the back of the head. They added a lot of different things, and that I remember from those older Hitman games. They're really good in those aspects. I mean, if you like Blood Money, you'll like those, but they're a little bit hard to get back into because the AI is very schizo. You don't know what to expect from them. One moment you're just you're in disguise, they don't notice you, and the next they all of a sudden start shooting you the minute you walk into the level. All of a sudden it can get crazy.
It is, especially with early stealth games, the AI can kind of be a crapshoot.
Yeah, I mean, replaying it, I didn't have a huge issue with it. They were a little bit lenient in terms of the amount of damage you took. You could take a lot of damage in that game. So I had a level where I just pretty much rampaged the whole thing just to get by, because the level was so expansive. Just the moment you step in there, you look at this map, it's like, damn, there's a lot of layers and there's a lot of things going on here. That's what I liked about those older Hitman games. It's just very, very large levels. There's a lot to go. There's a lot to check out and explore. And once you figure out every nook and cranny, you can kind of figure out which way you want to go about it and take these levels on in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. I love that about just stealth games. Just the amount of choice that you can get is just fantastic.
So yeah, I haven't been playing anything recently other than just that. I haven't really played much, and that's got me interested. It's kind of, for me, it's been kind of a dry month, dry past few weeks for anything new in gaming. Nothing's going to be coming out really that's interesting to me, anyways, until later this year. Maybe not even later this year, probably till next year, till Witcher 3 comes out in February. I don't know, maybe something will arise and I'll play it, but I have no interest in Watch Dogs, really.
Yeah, no it's not great. It's obviously well done, but it just really doesn't have a identity of its own. Like something like Sleeping Dogs, strangely enough. That game has there's a couple of little strange quirks with it, but it's definitely a fun game and has its own identity as an action game. But it's certainly not. It's certainly not without a personality.
Yeah, I love Sleeping Dogs. That was a fun little open world action game. I mean, it did enough interesting things to stand out. I mean, obviously it being a different setting other than New York was good enough. It being in Hong Kong and you actually having to drive the other opposite direction was good too. It took me a while to get used to driving on the left side, the left lane.
You damn driver! It's always driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, it was interesting. I liked it. I liked that it came out well. It didn't end up being one of those games that was just in this kind of limbo and coming out and not being as well received as it should have. But I'm glad that everything worked out in the end for those developers, since it kind of got switched around from publishers here. But I liked how it turned out, and I liked that it didn't end up getting canceled by Activision.
Yeah, it's nice bit of good luck for him.
Yeah, but other than that, sir, have you been playing anything noteworthy, or just kind of getting into Absolution?
Getting back into Absolution, of course. I also got Remember Me on the cheap, and that just looked like a very interesting game. I loved some of the bigger cult hits of the this last generation was Majin and the Forbidden Kingdom and Enslaved, and I thought Remember Me might be one of those, so I just decided to give it a shot. And so far, it's nice. It's not overly complicated, but don't really have a whole grasp of it yet.
Still early on. I hear you.
And the only other thing I've been looking at is re-downloading and playing a little bit of Vanquish again. So,
oh man,
yeah, Platinum games they don't always sell, but all the publishers want them because that gives them serious credit on their payroll.
Mm-hmm. No, Platinum's a very good developer, man. Absolutely fantastic. I didn't bring it up, but we didn't see a whole much, but I'm really looking forward to Platinum Games' next game that they got coming out.
Which one is that?
They showed a game of it. They showed some footage of it. It may have been a footage or trailer at E3. It was actually a Platinum Games game. I just don't remember what the name of it was called, but
it was like a dinosaur fighting one.
I believe so. It might have been that. I just don't remember what the name of it is. It's just, that was a Platinum game.
That one looked pretty darn awesome for the Xbox One, and I certainly hope that one's good. Just because Platinum Games, they're all the guys from Clover Studios, so I really do hope that they find some financial success this time around.
So we got that, and we got nothing in terms of gameplay or any idea what the game's about from the new Suda 51 game. So we have no idea what's about.
Suda.
A lot like his other games, which you don't know what's about. What's going on?
Suda 51. The less you know, the better it is.
That is Suda.
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to more excellent video games, good sir.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you got anything else that you wanted to bring up or anything, but yeah, I don't have much in terms of what I've been playing. I'm looking to get back into probably playing some unfinished games. That's usually the time. That's usually the perfect time than ever. Whenever there's not much out that interests me, it's a perfect time than ever to just play some games I have that I've downloaded and never really played. Finished. I hate to say because I played a little bit of it on the PC. I ended up buying a few months ago the Beyond Good and Evil HD version on the Xbox, so I might play that. I didn't get too far when I played it on the PC, but I got to a good chunk of time into it, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. I just never finished it. There's that, and then there's a few games on my 3DS that I have yet to finish. I got the Super Mario 3D Land. That was a fun game from what I played, and I need to finish some of the Phoenix Wright games. I got like 2 of them that I have. I've beaten the first one, and then I'm like right in the middle of the second Phoenix Wright game. I'm kind of prepping myself because I wanted to play the latest Phoenix Wright game that came out about a year or 2 ago. I wanted to play that, and then they also got another Phoenix Wright crossover with him and Professor Layton, which looks interesting. It's kind of combining the aspects of this puzzle, a very puzzle-oriented game of Professor Layton, and then also putting in Phoenix Wright objection shouting simulator in there, which looks really good.
That's going to be a very interesting combination.
I'm really interested in playing that actually. So there's a few things that I got going here, sir. I definitely got some games that I'm gonna be looking forward to playing some more. Definitely some other stuff that I've downloaded from the Xbox that came with the Xbox Gold, free games for gold deal, and then I got some books here I need to finish reading. The last Dance with Dragons, the last Game of Thrones book that's come out. I have not seen the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. I hear some things about it. That's all I hear. That's all I can say. I know what happens because I read the books, but I know they've changed up a little bit of a few things in there. I'm curious to see what they've changed.
Mm-hmm. But they mostly just leave out one kind of the big, just like, oh my gosh, that thing happened at the end of that book, and you might be able to know what it is, but I don't want to spoil it.
I'm not too worried about spoilers. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what that is, but I have to see it just to see what it was, and I think I have an idea what it is, but I don't want to say it for those that haven't seen it yet, but looking forward to that. Some Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, man. It got, and it just is.
Yeah, glad you got yourself into it. It's a good show. I mean, for the most part, it's a really well done adaptation of those books.
It really darn good. Really well made, excellently acted, good writing, and gosh darn if it doesn't get me enthralled every single week.
If only they'd make a Witcher TV show, that'd be amazing.
Oh my god! Yep, that's gonna be that's probably gonna be on Showtime now.
It's gonna compete with Game of Thrones. Oh my goodness, man! I actually would love to see that. That would be a great idea, man. A Witcher TV show.
You know what I would love to see? If Jim Henson did like all the realistic, huge animal of the harpies and the trolls and all the real, or whoever Guillermo del Toro uses, just like the real props to get like a nice sense of weightiness to it.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. But yeah, sir, I think we've reached the conclusion of this fine podcast. Glad we got to discuss a few things we were excited for about from E3. We got to get your thoughts on Absolution. I liked that we got to do that, and much like we did with Blood Money, it was good to reminisce on Blood Money and the greatness that was Blacklist as well. You got me psyched to play that again.
Oh yes, indeed, good sir. It is an excellent game, and it definitely deserves a lot more credit, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I like that. Ubisoft is not milking the series like they are Assassin's Creed. They've been pretty good about Splinter Cell. They've been it's been pretty good spread out. I mean, it's been well spread out.
Oh, yeah.
Those games.
They don't rush it.
They don't rush it. I mean, it's their bread and butter. That series. That's what put them on the map. That Splinter Cell, whether people like to say that or not.
Adapting
I personally
Tom
say
Clancy games.
Just Tom
or
Clancy
those
games.
damn Rabbids games.
Or just games that have nothing to do with Tom Clancy. Just putting his name on it, pretty much. There's a few of those out there.
I do like that one story, which was Tom Clancy seeing the trifocal goggles. He's like, that's stupid. That would never happen. It's way too cumbersome for a machine to have both night vision and heat. And then like a couple years later, they actually developed one that was night vision and heat. So it just goes to show you, science fiction can follow into science fact.
Yes, glad we got to divulge into that, but yeah, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 152 of Bloody Thumbs Podcast. Thank you, CH, for joining me as always. Thank you for all you fine listeners listening to this podcast. So, I'll be signing off for the night, folks. You have a good night, good week. Stay close. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, or else they'll shoot you in the back of the head.
Where's Michael? As for myself, I am CH Gorog signing off. Check us out on BGB or iTunes or wherever you can find us. We're also have some YouTube channels, and go check us out there. And we hope to see you next time.
Definitely, yeah. I forgot the plugs. I mean, you guys for the most part will
know what we're doing.
We'll know what we're doing. I mean, if not, we'll have them in the show notes for sure. I mean, I'll have all the most all the most things we do that we do a lot of activity wise. Twitter, YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Twitch. Whenever I get the energy to do it. Whenever I get the energy to stream.